Hello all my Kenvians and welcome to a new episode of Discovering Classic Doctor Who. Today I'm going to be continuing the journey into Marco Polo, the lost story of William Hartnell's era, well, the first season of William Hartnell's era. And you might notice a bit of a change in quality as far as the video goes, potentially, because I've actually had to look at alternate means of actually watching these. Primarily because the website I was using, the final episode is missing. Good thing I checked that before I started recording. But yeah, so there might be a slight difference in the recording audio, or as well as the recording quality. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's see, what is the name of the... I actually forget the name of this episode. I think it's Wall of Lies? Maybe? If I remember what it said on the website correctly. But I should be able to remember the others as I go along here. But let's get right into it with the fourth episode of the Lost Marco Polo series slash serial. Whatever. Anyway, let's go. Click. This is so weird.
Is it safe for us to look now? Do as you will.
Is he licking his lips?
Well,
I'm sorry.
What are you looking for, gentlemen?
Susan was right.
Su Chao and Can Chao, where the Great Wall of Cathay begins.
Su Chao? Can Chao? Will Chao.
Haha. The River.
It's funnier.
Here, our route swings north, and with the river.
It's a pity there was any association at all. The Chinese child makes me nervous.
Yes, you mean?
She found out about the key.
What?
Yes, on the night that Barbara was captured. Susan and Pete.
Bored. 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 So bored. Ever so bored. Did she say shit? I swear I thought I heard her say shit.
I'm gonna try a bluff. If it works, we may be able to turn the tables on Tagana. Now go quickly.
Then they all died.
He's got another key. I saw him go inside.
He
All
saw
we can do
him.
now is wait for him to come out.
I not say he had another key.
Tagana's
key in the lock
evil
code, and you will destroy the ship. Then where will your pistol?
We can't go on like this. We must get out.
That's easier said than done.
Sure, that was a lot more dramatic in motion.
I know the answer against us, but if he...
Best guard ever. Oh. Well, that makes sense. Writer from Shang-Tu. Alright. So... if anything at all from this episode was actually used in the compressed version, it might have been where Marco and Ping Cho were standing outside the marketplace. Like before... God, I forget his name. The warlord showed up. Like, that's literally the only thing I can think of that might have actually been from those episodes. But overall, honestly, and it may be because I did watch the condensed reconstruction, this episode really just felt like padding. It felt truly unnecessary. I guess it does add to the consideration that, you know, they're on a very long journey and they're covering a lot of ground on this journey. But still, it's, yeah, it just wasn't that great. If there was anything I did like from this episode, I would have to say it's kind of the little implication, which I'm sure is just me being a stupid guy and reading into it, but what was it? It was either Barbara or Ian that said that Susan was taking a liking to Ping Cho, or like, you know, it's like they were very close and all that, which obviously means it's like, you know, they were becoming good friends, they were really close in that way. I mean, they're both very pretty. So, yeah, I'm just going to shut up and end it at that. There was someone that commented, I think back on the condensed reconstruction, who asked if I shipped them, so to speak, and I can kind of. I forget how old Ping Cho is supposed to be in here. I can guarantee that the actress herself is not actually, like, I want to say younger than 18, maybe. I don't know. Again, I can't remember how old she's supposed to be. But, yeah, I seriously doubt the actress is that young. But regardless, I'm just going to shut up about that because I realize that it sounds really cringy and awkward coming from a weirdo like me. But let's move on into the next episode. The writer from Shang-Tu, I think that's the right name for it. And we'll see if, you know, things pick up a little bit. Hopefully they do. And go. Oh, and obviously let's go ahead and skip ahead of the intro. There we go. He was dead all along.
He's sleeping. He is not as young as we are. Tell the others that unless he signals before the moon's first light,
How young are you supposed to be?
then, as the Lord commanded,
Because you look significantly older.
still, as Lord Tagama wished, we'll make sport of it. So should I.
This guy's familiar. I know
Warlord's tomb.
I know they
Come in.
don't have that many Chinese actors, obviously, but still that particular character.
Give it to him, Mr. Marcus.
Thank you, Printer.
There we go. I mean, at least we got more of what was in the condensed version, but God. These are so... This is really dragging on. I think it's because of how much sort of sneaking around is being done and how much, I guess, unspoken actions are occurring. But these are, like, these last two episodes are really hard to go through in this form, in my opinion. And while these are an updated version of what I was watching before, I will say, while on one hand I appreciate what they've done, it's like they've taken, like, the characters themselves, or like their bodies and some of their poses from other images and then superimpose them onto these other scenes, seemingly even superimpose some of them next to each other. And I meant to talk about this when the previous episode was over, but it doesn't look good. Really, like in some cases, it looks like they did a pretty good job, and I mean, again, I understand why they did it because it allows them to better portray what's going on, since obviously, you know, the original footage is lost. But for me, when I see, like, a character on the screen, and the lighting and coloring for that character is completely different from what is around them, and possibly other characters on screen, it's really distracting for me. I don't know what it was, but just the fact that they were using stills, like, I guess unmanipulated stills, in the original, or the first 3 episodes that I watched, it was easier in a way for me to sort of get lost in it. So by them, again, going the extra mile and doing a relatively good job, it's just some of those things stand out so much to me, it makes it hard for me to really get absorbed into the story. Which we are moving into the final 2 episodes of this, and I honestly don't know how much footage I'm going to include in either the YouTube version or the extended cut over on Dailymotion, because, I mean, there just wasn't much for me to respond to. Maybe I responded more than I remember, but I just don't think there's much there. So, but moving into these final 2 episodes and knowing what is to come, I can only assume a fair chunk of these episodes will actually, you know, be what I remember from that condensed reconstruction, and will therefore just fit into, or be a more interesting couple of episodes as a whole. So yeah, I'm going to take a quick break right now, and I will be right back after a quick jump cut. I'm just going to take a minute to have some water and get a little bit to eat, because I forgot to eat dinner, and I realized that as my stomach was yelling at me while watching. So I will be right back for the next episode, which is, what was the name of that? The Mighty Kublai Khan. So yes, see you in just a second. Alright, and we're back. Apologies for the possibly little commercial ad that popped up there. You know, might as well fill a little bit of blank space with something. But anyway, it is time to get into the next episode of this series, beginning the final 2 episodes. And let's just get right into it, because I've talked enough. And the episode is the Mighty Mighty Kublai Khan. And go.
What are you?
They may kill them and stop with it.
We will kill no one.
Are you mad? They will only escape again.
I don't think so.
Why do you trust him?
So long as you're safe, Susan, that's all that matters.
Listen, we need the TARDIS. You must talk to Marco.
Talk to Marco? I've done nothing else but talk to Marco.
Oh, Marco. Ian wants a word with you.
Who?
I'm feeling a bit tired, so I think I'll go off to bed.
Just a minute. Barbara, here. Well,
Okay,
you must give us back the TARDIS.
Is that what you would have told me?
quick pause. In the context of this situation, that sudden, oh Marco, hello, it makes more sense, because even Ian is taken by surprise at the suddenness of it. It makes sense here. Okay, continuing.
Yes.
But I've told you before, Ian.
Ian, don't you see it doesn't matter to me why you lied?
What is important is the fact that you are capable of lying.
Everyone is capable
Don't believe me when
of
I
lying,
came from another time.
including a person who raises their sword at you.
The old man is it's my authority to collect the... I see, I've got eyes. It's in the tables. Hey, give that to me.
Wang Lo? Seriously. Wang Lo. I know they meant nothing by it, but I can't help it. My brain goes to weird places. Continuing.
About your business. I'll talk to the commander of the caravan.
Shall I come with you?
No, you wait here. Give me the money. Don't worry. I'll
Just the sun zoom in on that. Hi, monkey.
Mighty Kublai Khan is pleased to grant you an audience.
We'll await the great Khan's pleasure.
God!
Kowtow before the master of the world.
But
Why? What do you want?
the monkey.
Speak!
Where's my money?
Tell me! Tell me! The warlords of Ghana!
Of course.
Come. Come.
Okay, that was definitely a far more impressive episode. I mean, still have, you know, some of my other issues that I've had with some of the episodes. Like, particularly in the beginning, it just kind of started a bit slow, but it definitely picked up. It hit a lot of the major notes, obviously, that were used in the condensed reconstruction. And I admittedly, like, what was left out, I enjoyed actually seeing it here on screen. A bit of it, admittedly, is a bit confusing to follow along with, especially when they came to the Khan's court, or wherever it was. There were points where I couldn't tell if it was the Khan talking or his vizier. So, yeah, that got a bit confusing at times. But for the most part, I did enjoy, again, just seeing the extended portions of what they did use in that condensed version. And now, it's time for, moving on to, what was it, Assassin at Peking? Peking? I don't know how to pronounce it right. But, yes, let's get into the fourth and final episode of this Lost series. And I'll see if I can fast forward just a touch. Yes, to the end of the intro sequence. And go!
1 year, sire. Oh, the Empress. Hi.
Wait, Empress? Okay, she was completely left out.
My throat. Here's your throat.
God, they're freaking adorable. This is one of those scenes I wish was in full motion. This episode.
With 6,000 guests will attend.
6,000?
He's a very important man.
Must be. When is the wedding?
Tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah, that's right. They never actually showed
Yes?
who he is.
Oh, you're the courier that brought me the message from Shang-Tu, aren't you? Beloved husband, to be so anxious to be worthy of your love, drank a potion of quicksilver and sulfur, the elixir of life and eternal youth, and expired almost.
Come into my arms, child.
What?
Let me share your grief. You're overdoing it, my little child is dry-eyed.
Dad, open the door.
Oh. I like my version better. I'm sorry. I'm waiting 7 episodes to hear that sound.
But what is the truth? I wonder where they are now. The past or the future?
Or both at the same time. Next episode, The Sea of Death. Bing, ba-doom. Okay. Not gonna lie, I am never going to do 4 episodes in a row ever again. Even just full motion episodes, I'm never doing 4 of them at a time again. It's just, it's overkill. Yeah, 3 at the most, unless they're just particularly short. Oh, but yeah, these last 2 episodes, overall, they were a really good portion of, again, I know I keep mentioning it for obvious reasons, but the condensed reconstruction was a good portion of that, especially at the end, and it was a really, these 2 episodes were really good. Like, I honestly feel like if I watched the first 2 episodes, and then like maybe just like, what was it, like maybe just the tiny bit of the very beginning of the 3rd episode, skip 4 and 5, and then just have episodes 6 and 7. I feel like that would be overall a better viewing experience. It would leave out the fluff of these episodes. But again, if it was full motion, if it was the original full motion version, maybe I would feel differently. But as far as these recreations go, it was just too long. It was way too long, and it felt so drawn out. I actually feel like the way to have done this properly, and who knows, maybe someone has actually edited it this way using these reconstructions, but finding a good medium between the 30-minute version that I watched before, again, the condensed reconstruction, like longer than those 30 minutes, but not quite the 7 full episodes here. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that could have been left out. But certain things that I do wish that they had left in the condensed version. Especially in these last 2 episodes, certain elements in the first 2 episodes. And then a few sprinklings here or there in the episodes in between. But again, what was it? Not the Cave of 500 Eyes. Well, I mean, a good portion of that, you know, didn't exist in the condensed version. Glad it wasn't there. Then the portion of it from that next episode, Wall of Lies? Was that the name of it? I can't remember. Regardless, I guess what I'm trying to say in the grand scheme of things is that, I mean, I did enjoy this journey. I did enjoy watching or getting to learn more about this series or this particular story. I do see definite issues with it. Again, this is all part of me also getting used to the way the show worked. Back in the day, it was more slow-paced, which is something that I'm going to have to get used to, especially as more of these relatively longer stories come out. But I can't help but feel a bit sad that the best parts of this were not able to be seen as they should be seen. That I had to witness them through these stills, which again are impressive. I feel like they got a lot better at not using the mix and match positions of some of the characters, like what I was complaining about before. They definitely got better at not doing that too much in these last couple episodes. But yeah, just in the end, I feel it's a good story. I'm glad I experienced it in both of its forms that are currently available. But at the same time, I'm sad because I feel I didn't get the right experience. I didn't get the right experience with seeing this story, which would obviously be being able to watch the episodes as they were originally aired, in their full motion. Even if through, grainy, not that great video footage, it still would have been really nice to be able to watch it as it's supposed to be seen. At the same time, since I did watch it in this form, but to reiterate what I said before, I wish that there was a condensed version that is not as condensed as the one on the DVD set. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I definitely am rambling a lot, but yeah, it's unfortunately I feel like this is a mixed bag. And as far as what Mark Eaton said in his introduction, that it's for him one of the best classic Doctor Who stories, aside from the fact that he was in it. And I can see the potential there. I really can. The story, when the story is good, it's really, really good. Even with the still frames, the best parts shine through. But the fluff, the filler, for me, it may have been tolerable in its original form, but just, for me, doesn't work when it comes to these reconstructions. And I realize that maybe I was ragging on Marco Polo a lot through these last few portions of the story. And maybe this is my one big issue with the writing, but dear God, they made him so dumb at times. It's like, how am I supposed to trust you when this and this, even though you've been very kind to me, and the person I'm trusting has drawn his sword on me at least once that we saw within the story. He has been extremely shady. You're getting this information that he is lying from multiple sources. Yes, those sources, the majority of which are people that, you don't know them. But it feels like they wrote Marco Polo to overlook way too many things, and it really frustrated me. But yeah, I guess I'll never be able to know exactly how I truly feel for this story unless someday the original footage is brought out. Which, one thing that has been commented and blows my mind is, apparently this story in particular was actually sold to like stations around the world, like multiple countries, I guess bought this story so that they could air it, and yet it doesn't. The footage of it doesn't seem to exist anymore. And that just blows my mind. Maybe one day, maybe somebody's grandfather recorded them. They may not be in great shape, but they recorded them somehow. They still exist, but they're in, I don't know, they're in someone's basement. And one day, though, that footage will be brought out and they'll be like, oh my god, let's get this to BBC, and all will be well again. But yeah, just as it is, I definitely think that the condensed version is the ideal version to go with, especially if, you know, you're more in the mindset like me and you're not fully used to the slower pace of the classic Doctor Who show. Maybe I'll be able to go back one day and rewatch this, and I'll fully enjoy it. I'll be able to watch all these episodes back to back. But as it is right now, yeah, while it was really good, it was really good. But otherwise, it was at best meh to snooze fest. And I guess we just move on from there. So, coming up next, yeah, I will have to find a copy of, what was it again? Come on. Come on. What is it? The Sea of the Dead, I think is what it was called. The Sea of Death, that's what it is. So yeah, I am going to either utilize what resources I have online, or I will find a new DVD set in which to continue the story of the first series of Doctor Who. Yeah, I really want to see more, and I'm honestly looking forward to getting back into the classic era where it isn't just a bunch of stills. I honestly do feel like watching these has sort of, I don't know, negatively affected me in a way. Again, despite the fact that I actually did have portions here that I enjoyed. But I'm rambling on far too long. I'm probably actually going to edit some of what I've said after these episodes. It was interesting, to say the least. And I'm interested to hear what you all have to say about these episodes, about what I had to say. I'm interested to see what you think of my perspective. Again, I mean no ill will toward these episodes. Just for me, a lot of them felt truly unnecessary. Or, as far as a reconstruction goes, let's get not a condensed version, but an abbreviated version. Which, maybe abbreviated would actually be shorter, but in my mind, it's shorter than the full, but not quite as short as the condensed. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, just let me know your all's thoughts. I'm interested to hear what it is. Let me know what you think of this entire story as a whole, and whether or not you have actually seen the full versions. I can provide a link to the loose canon videos in the description down below, or, but actually, if anyone wants to see them, I'll provide a link in the comments. Let's go with that. So if anyone asks, I'll put it down there. But I've been rambling on too long. Everyone, thank you very much for being here with me through this journey, through Marco Polo, the first lost story with Doctor Who. And I'm looking forward to getting into the next one, the Sea of Death, as soon as I possibly can, again, through one way or another. But until next time, everyone, I am Papa Ken. I will see you in the next episode of Discovering Classic Doctor Who.